Hey yogis, welcome back. Today we are doing Svadisthana, or your sacral chakra. Your sacral chakra is in charge of all things creativity, sexuality, expressing yourself, just overall you being you. So if you feel like you find yourself kind of quieting yourself at times, or even like if you are working and you have like a creative block, this flow is a great way to get you back into expressing yourself freely. So whenever you are ready, let's go ahead and get started in a tabletop position. Stacking your wrists under your shoulders, knees under hips. We're just going to take a few rounds of cow and cat. So inhale, drop the belly, lift the chin, lift the tailbone. Make this very exaggerated. Exhale, drop your head and neck, untuck the toes. Inhale, open up, tuck the toes. Just involving the feet a little bit. Exhale, cat pose. One more time. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Good. Come to a neutral table. We're going to kind of figure eight the hips here. So we're going to go to the right, to the left, and you'll just kind of find your rhythm here. Side to side, also kind of depressing and elevating the hips as you rock, just opening up that sacral area. One more round of breath. This can be a little fun. You should feel some energy moving through there right away. All right, come to a neutral table. Tuck the toes, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. If this is your first downward facing dog, go ahead and spend some time here. Pedaling out the feet, just noticing how you feel. This is like my several time being in a downward facing dog, and it still feels tight, so just let it be what it is. Opening up into the legs. Then on the inhale, we'll lift the heels. On the exhale, we'll melt the heels towards the mat. If your feet are resting on the mat easily, go ahead and lift all 10 toes off of the mat, and you'll see how that deepens the stretch. Breathe in and breathe out. Come high onto the toes, look in between the hands, and let's tippy toe to the top of your mat, keeping the legs straight, hips lifted. And then when we get to the top, we'll take a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Soft bend into the knees. Inhale, sweeps the arms high, extended mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, takes a half lift. Exhale, plant the hands. We're going to step the left foot back. So I'm going to actually wiggle my right foot up a tad. You want your right knee and ankle to be at a 90-degree line, like stacked right here. So if you find your knee is surpassing the ankle, pull it back or walk that right foot forward. Drop the left knee, untuck the toes, and then squeeze the inner thighs together as you sweep the arms high. Anjaneyasana. Take a baby back bend here, allowing the shoulders to melt away from the ears. Activate through the fingertips, and then sink the hips towards that right heel as you take your gaze up. Inhale. On the exhale, plant the hands under the shoulders, shift the hips back, and then tug the right toes towards the face. Half split. We're going to floss in and out of this right hip here. If you take any of my classes, you know this is one of my favorite moves. Inhale, come to a low lunge. You can stay here on your finger pads. Exhale, half split. Pull the toes towards the face. Good. Inhale, low lunge. Last one. Exhale, half split. This time we're going to take that left hand to the outside of the right foot and just kind of take a side body stretch over this right leg. Still in that half split. Now begin to walk the hands forward to frame the right foot. Hug the inner thighs as you sweep the arms high back to that Anjaneyasana. Right hand is going to come to your right hip, or if you have a block handy, place it right down on the ground beside you. Stretch up and over with that left arm. So we're creating like a rainbow arch. Pulling the right side body in, extending into the left side body. Pull the left shoulder back, Big breath in. You'll feel the stretch in the hip flexor or the front of that left thigh. And then bring both arms up. Paint the wall in front of you. Plant the hands. Tuck the left toes. Pick up the left knee. Right foot steps back. High plank. Inhale, shifts the body forward. Exhale, sends the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. It is storming here, so if you can hear the thunder, I apologize. Breathe in. Exhale. Come high onto the tippy toes. Look in between the hands and walk to the top of your mat. Take a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Soft bend into the knees. Inhale, sweeps the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Take a half lift, flat back. Exhale, plants the hands. This time, take your right foot back. I'm going to wiggle my left foot forward right away. Remember, there is no shame in adjusting where you need to adjust. Rarely do I land where I'm supposed to. Drop that right knee, untuck the toes, hug the inner thighs together, sweep the arms high, sink the hips towards the left heel as you pull the arms back, let the shoulders melt down your back, lift your gaze, strong in that front heel, breathe in. Exhale, shift the hips back, plant the hands, and then tug the left toes towards the face, half split. Breathe in. Exhale, and then we're going to hip floss on your left side. So walk the hands forward, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. This is my favorite. It feels so nice. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Take your right hand, plant it to the left side of your mat, and then take a side bend, fold over that left leg. Tug the left toes back. You'll feel that stretch. Maybe even bump that left hip back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Begin to walk the hands forward to frame the left foot. Hug the inner thighs and sweep the arms high, Anjaneyasana. If you have your block, go ahead and get that handy. Or take your left hand to your left hip or thigh. Right arm's going to reach up and over. Side body stretch. Hips are sinking towards the left heel. Breathe in and breathe out. Good work. Sweep the left arm high. Paint the wall in front of you. Plant the hands. Tuck the right toes. Pick up the knee. Left foot steps back, shift the hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, come high to your tippy toes, look in between the hands and get to the top of your mat in your way. Take a half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, raise all the way up, extended mountain. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, let it go. Tapping into that creativity. I'm sure you're feeling some blood flow, some movement already. Inhale, sweep the arms high, sit the hips low, chair pose. Pull your tail back under you, so rather than poking the booty out, pull it in. Wiggle the toes, breathe in, lift the arms. Exhale, forward fold. Take a half lift. Plant the hands, step both feet back, downward facing dog. Right away, take that left leg high. Bend the knee, open up the hips. So drawing that left heel as close as you can to the glute. Squeeze it in, root back into both hands. Come high onto the right toes. And then bring your left knee to your nose. Hug it in tight. Plant the left foot. Pivot on the back foot. Warrior one. Pull the right hip forward, left hip back to square your hips towards the front edge of your mat. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now pop the right heel up, crescent lunge. Take your hands to heart center. Step your right foot up to meet the left. Good. Take your palms, face them forward. Bring your right knee up. So right foot is parallel, or right thigh is parallel to the mat. Right foot is flexed. Now take your left hand to your left hip and grab a hold of your big toe with your peace sign fingers of the right hand. This right here is the pose. You can stay right like this. If you would like to take this a little bit further, let's kick that right heel forward. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out. Try to re-extend into that standing leg. It likes to sink a little bit here. Now soft bend into the right knee. See if you can keep it in space As you press both hands forward, I know it's tricky, inhale. Exhale, sweeps it back, airplane. Right foot is still flexed, toes are activated, palms are facing down, and with control, we'll slowly step that right foot back, sweep the arms high, crescent lunge. Beautiful job. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Open up to warrior two just for a moment. Your right foot is going to come parallel with the back edge of the mat, followed by the left. So you will be in a wide-legged stance here. And then cactus your arms. Turn the toes out now. Heels will be in as you bend into both knees, heading into a goddess squat. So let's wiggle left and right, opening up the hips, getting some movement in the sacral chakra. Take your hands to your heart center. Start to straighten into both legs. Turn your right toes back to parallel, and then sink your hips to that right heel as your left toes lift towards the ceiling. Now this is going to be a skater or Skandasana, your variation. If your hands would like to come to the mat here for balance, let them come to the mat. Feel the stretch in that inner left leg. Breathe in and breathe out. Slowly start to lift the hips. Walk the hands to center. And then start to walk your hands forward. Turn all your toes to the front edge of your mat. Sweep that left leg up and back. Three-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip one last time. Inhale. Exhale, let it land. Downward facing dog. Inhale, roll it forward. Exhale, wave it back. Good work. Right away, let's sweep that right leg high. Breathe in. Bend the knee, open the hip, come high onto the left toes, and then bring your right knee to your nose. Hug it in tight, step it through, rise to warrior one. Pivot on the back foot. So your left foot now is at a 45-degree angle just for a moment. Take a mini back bend, breathe in, breathe out. Now pop that left heel, bring your hands to heart center. So you're in more of a crescent lunge just to give you some strength to step that left foot up to meet the right. Press the palms forward. Pick up the left thigh so that it's parallel with the mat. Flex the left foot. Breathe in. Right hand comes to your hip. Peace sign fingers hook your left big toe. Stay right here, or you will decide if you want to kick that left heel out. Re-extend into the standing leg if it's starting to collapse on you a bit. Inhale. Exhale. All right. Start to soft micro bend in that left knee just to help you keep it in space. Pressing the hands forward. Lift, lift, lift. Sweep it back. Airplane. Take your time. Left hip point is rolled down rather than open. Toes are flexed. Slowly let that foot land. Inhale, crescent lunge. Breathe in. Settle. Open on up. Warrior two. And then start to turn all your toes once again, heading into that goddess squat position. So toes out, heels in, cactus arm, sink the hips. If you want to wiggle again, you can wiggle. Take whatever feels good. Sink those hips extra low. Breathe in. Breathe out. Take your hands to heart center. Start to extend into the legs. Turn your left toes in. Sink the hips down. Skater or Skandasana. The right toes will pop towards the ceiling. Feel that stretch underneath this right leg here. Inhale. Exhale. Start to lift the hips, come back to center, and then walk your hands to frame the right foot. All your toes will face the front of the room. Plant the hands. Sweep that right foot up and back. Open up the hip. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let it land. Downward facing dog. Inhale, rolls it forward. Exhale, wave it back. Good work. Come high onto the toes, look in between the hands. Walk or hop to the top edge of your mat. Take a half lift and a forward fold. Inhale, sweeps the arms high, extended mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good work. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sweep the arms high. Exhale, forward fold. Take a half lift. Plant the hands, step both feet back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee to nose, hug it in tight, and then plant the foot through. Drop the right knee, untuck the toes. All right, so if you have your blocks, go ahead and grab them. If not, you will make do without. So we are heading into a full split. Now, I cannot personally do a full split right this second, so we're going to modify. We're going to start by coming into a half split. So tug the left toes towards the face. If you have your blocks, like I have mine, just hold on to them. Reach your heart forward and begin to fold. Feel the opening in the back of the leg. And as you're here, we're going to work our way into a full split by inching that right knee back, inching that left heel forward. Now I know as well as anybody that mats aren't usually very slippery. So if you have to really work your way into this, work your way onto this. And what I want you to also pay attention to is if your hips are opening to the right long edge of your mat, pull the hips back, front and center. As you can see, there's plenty of space between my hips and the mat. So like I said, a full split is not in my practice right now, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be. Yours can be, a foot or two off the mat. It's okay. It's the action of opening up the sacral chakra, finding some movement, and you're probably ready for me to stop talking. You may notice also I'm pumping my leg in and out. It just makes the stretch feel better for me. If that's what you would like to do, by all means. Whew. Over the next couple of breaths, we will slowly back out of this just as slowly as we got into it. Take your time. And when you get back into this 90-90 or this lunge, we're just going to step this right knee back and come to a seat. Take your hands into your lap, palms face up, and close down the eyes and breathe. That's what we call a peak posture. So we warmed up the body to get there, but we also have to kind of bring the body back from that. It's a high energy pose. So just get back to your breath. Let your body know that you're safe and you are free to express whatever you need to express. You are creative. You are open to the abundance that life has to offer. Softly blink open the eyes. Inhale, both arms high. Exhale, hands through, heart center just to ground us. And then we'll walk the hands forward. Move your blocks if they are on your mat. Tuck the toes. Send the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Good. Inhale, right leg high. And take your right knee to your nose. Hold it in tight. Step that right foot in between the hands. Drop the left knee, untuck the toes. Here we go, right side. Grab your blocks if they are handy, if you need them. And then we'll start to sink the hips forward first. Shift the hips back, half split. Tug the right toes to your face, tug your heart towards your toes, and fold. So feel the opening, most likely in the behind the knee area, depending on where you're tight. Breathe into back of that right leg. You know where we're heading. So whenever you're ready, we'll start to inch our way in. Now remember, slow and steady wins the race, even here. I don't know if wins the race is the right phrase for that because there's really no race and there's no winning. But if we are easy and slow with ourselves, our body will respond much better than forcing anything. So get into your variation of a full split. Some days it's there, some days it's nowhere near, and just accept it. If you would rather stay in that half split, it's still doing the work. So just allow yourself to go where you want to go. Feel the openness in the legs, in the groin, in the pelvis, everything just opening up, flowing, moving. It's a good idea to keep both feet active in some way, shape, or form. And over the next few breaths, just as slowly as we got into this, we will ease out. Take your time. Big movements, big movements. When you're ready, step that right knee back to meet the left. And once again, sit your hips to your heels, palms in the lap. Woo, feel that energy. Probably feel your heartbeat pulsing in your fingertips, maybe even in the toes and in the legs. A lot of us have really closed off legs here, so sometimes our feet get extra cold or we have some poor circulation or sciatica stuff. So getting the sacral chakra moving also helps with all of that. It just boosts the blood flow, gets everything restoring like it is. Whew. Breathe. Slowly blink open the eyes. Inhale, sweep the arms high. Exhale, bring the thumb knuckles in front of your heart space. We have one more peak posture here that we're going to work through. This is amazing for your sacral chakra. So in no pretty way, I'm going to get on into a tabletop facing the long edge of my mat. And you at home, if you have a doubled up mat, you can also roll up your mat because this may be a little bit much for your knees. You'll know when you get there. We're heading into a frog pose. So you want your knees on your mat. And then just start to walk your knees and your feet out just a little bit at a time. What I want you to focus on here is keeping your ankles and your knee in line. So rather than the toes touching or coming in towards each other, they're going to be and stay in line. And then you will also stay either up on your hands, or if you have the space and you want to come onto your forearms, or maybe you've got all of the openness in the world and you're lying flat, by all means, take frog to your variation. This is a big one, so take it easy. And then once you get there, keep the feet flexed, toes are flexed, but rock your hips back ever so slightly. So rather than leaning all the weight forward into the arms, we're working our way back into the hips. Oh yeah, big hip opener here. We won't be here for too long. If it feels better to rock in and out, again, take whatever movements you need. Just a few more breaths. Notice if there's any gripping in your body that you can release right here. Our body likes to protect us from some of these bigger postures, especially postures that involve the hips. This is why this is one of the most difficult practices, is opening up the hips and the legs. And it needs to be done. Your creativity and expression will feel amazing afterwards. All right, if you found your forearms, slowly come up to your hands. Let the toes come together, and in your way, you're gonna back out of this posture. So if you can make it look pretty, make it look pretty. If you just need to roll to one side and bail out, by all means, get to where you need to go. And then we are going to meet in a seated position. And take the soles of your feet together, knees out wide. So we were just in frog, so Baddha Konasana, you might already feel the opening. Take your thumbs to the middle of your feet, elbows towards the thighs or towards the knees, and we're just going to gently pump the heart forward. If you decide to fold here, great. Whew. One more big breath in. And let it go. Slowly bring the upper body up. And then we're going to make your way into a child's pose. So after all of that opening, especially in the legs, a child's pose may feel pretty good. I will recommend you keep your knees together for this one. I don't have space to fold here, so I'm going to actually let my knees be apart, but if you would like, keep your legs together, and then take your hands back behind you, reaching for the outer edges of the feet in a traditional balasana or child's pose. close down the eyes, tune in, and just notice how you feel. So the color for the sacral chakra is orange. So in your mind's eye, just like we did with the root chakra, I want you to, with each breath in, fill your body with that beautiful orange color. With each breath you take, it gets brighter, bolder, it grows wider, until it is extending from you in a protective aura. You are overflowing with creativity. You are comfortable and free expressing your sexuality. You are open to receiving the abundance that life offers. And then when you're ready, just walk your upper body up. If you would like to take a traditional Shavasana, you have the time and space to do so. If not, this is where I will leave you. So we'll inhale both arms overhead. You can watch the fingers come together, drag the thumb knuckles in front of the heart space, and then just pump the heart forward just a tad. It was my honor to practice with you. I hope that you go on expressing yourself today and every day moving forward. Go in peace, love, and light. Namaste.